The alley was too quiet for a Thursday afternoon. Sunlight filtered through broken windows and reflected off puddles that hadn't moved in days. Somewhere behind the dumpsters, a pair of worn boots scraped the pavement, and just beside them, a girl, small, silent, frozen. Her name was Mia, 7 years old, freckles on her nose, hair pulled into 2 loose braids, a backpack with one strap torn. She was supposed to be on her way home from school, but now her shoes were soaked, and her knees trembled as a rough voice growled, "No screaming, and this'll be quick." Then a sound, low, rumbling, deadly, a growl that vibrated through the concrete. From the shadows, something stepped forward, big, golden black, eyes sharp as broken glass. Rex, retired K-9, 8 years of service, 10 arrests, 1 broken rib. Today was supposed to be his final day on duty. He had other plans. Mia didn't talk much at school. She wasn't shy, just quiet in the way kids get when life asks them to grow up too fast. Her teachers called her thoughtful. Other kids said she was weird. She didn't mind. She had bigger things to think about. Her mom worked double shifts at the diner. Her dad, well, she didn't ask anymore. Every morning, Mia packed her own lunch, tied her own shoes, walked herself to school and back. She always took the same route, always held the torn strap of her backpack tight, always counted the sidewalk cracks like a ritual. 1, 2, safe. 3, 4, strong. She had one friend, Mrs. Kelly, the 70-year-old neighbor who fed stray cats and kept a weathered photo of her late husband next to the sugar jar. Sometimes, when Mia couldn't sleep, she'd sit on Mrs. Kelly's porch and pet the orange tabby that always smelled like dust and sunlight. But that afternoon, Mrs. Kelly wasn't on the porch, and the tabby wasn't waiting. School had let out late, rain had started early, and Mia's usual route was closed for road work, so she turned left instead of right, down a side street, past the old factory, toward the alley, where she saw the man. He didn't look dangerous at first. He smiled, said he'd lost his dog, said he needed help. And Mia wanted to be useful, to be seen. She followed him. 3 steps too far. For 8 years, Rex ran toward danger, explosives, gunfire, fleeing suspects, tense standoffs where one bark could change everything. He had teeth like steel and nerves like stone. But he also had a heart, and that was the problem. His handlers said he was too soft sometimes, that he lingered too long with victims, that he nuzzled crying children when he should have been scanning for threats. And that's why, after one last raid, a successful one with no casualties, Rex was retired. Voluntarily, they said, but not really. He was assigned to a temporary kennel, scheduled for transfer to a peaceful foster family in the suburbs. He didn't mind kennels. He hated cages. For days, he refused to eat, didn't respond to handlers, didn't sleep unless he heard sirens in the distance. And then, yesterday morning, something shifted. The officer feeding him left the gate unlatched. A mistake. Rex didn't bark, didn't bolt. He walked out. down the hallway, through the garage, out into the city he once protected. Something tugged at him, an old instinct, a thread, invisible but real. He followed it, block after block, past the parks, past the station, into the old industrial quarter, until he heard it. A sound, not loud, but sharp. A child's gasp, a boot dragging on concrete. Then, a smell, fear, metal, sweat. He turned the corner into the alley and found her, and found. The man had one hand on Mia's wrist. Tight, too tight. She whimpered, not loud, but enough to make him hiss. "Don't make this harder." She tried to pull back, failed. Then, a growl, deep, low, bone-shaking. Rex. He stepped into the alley like a shadow from another life, head low, shoulders squared, lips curled back just enough to show the warning beneath the fur. The man froze. "What the hell?" Rex didn't bark. He moved, fast, faster than memory, faster than fear. He lunged, teeth clamped around the man's forearm before the scream could escape. The man went down, hard, crashing into a stack of rusted crates. Mia stumbled backward, heart slamming against her ribs. Rex stood over the man, growling, body rigid. The man scrambled, bleeding, trying to crawl away. A second growl, lower, louder, then stillness. The man passed out cold. Rex turned. For a second, Mia flinched. He was huge. His eyes were wild, his mouth still stained with blood. But then he lowered his head and whimpered, as if to say, "Are you okay?" Mia's knees buckled. She collapsed onto the ground, staring at him. He stepped forward, slow, gentle, and sat right beside her. Mia reached out a shaking hand, touched his fur. Warm, real, alive. The alley was silent again. Only the distant hum of traffic reminded Mia that the world hadn't stopped. Rex stayed seated beside her, chest rising and falling slowly, like he was counting her breaths to match his. She turned to him. "You saved me." Rex tilted his head, ears twitching. Mia wasn't sure what to do. Should she run? Call someone? She touched the silver tag on his collar. K9 unit. Rex retired. Her fingers trembled as they traced the engraving. Retired or not, he had just done what most people wouldn't dare. She stood, brushing dirt from her knees. Rex stood too. He didn't lead. He followed. Out of the alley, down the street, toward the neighborhood she barely knew anymore. No one noticed them. A girl and a dog, walking side by side, like it was just another ordinary afternoon. At a gas station, Mia asked the clerk to use the phone. Her voice cracked as she gave her mother's number. When her mother arrived, wild-eyed, frantic, Mia ran to her, sobbing. Behind her, Rex stood quietly. The officers came soon after. They questioned Mia. She tried to explain. tried to describe the dog who came from nowhere and stopped a nightmare. They took photos of the scene. The man in the alley was already in custody, his record long, his intent clear. Mia looked around. "Where's the dog?" The officers turned. He was gone, slipped away like smoke, like he had somewhere else to be. But that night, Mia heard something at her window. She opened it slowly. Rex, sitting in the yard, watching. She opened the door. "You can come in," she whispered. He did. And for the first time since she could remember, Mia slept without fear. The next morning, Mia and her mother sat at the police station, not for questioning, this time to meet someone. The chief had said there was a man who wanted to speak with them. He entered quietly, tall, in his late 50s, wearing a faded uniform shirt and eyes that had seen too much. "Name's Hank. I was Rex's handler." Mia's breath caught. "You knew him?" Hank nodded. "I didn't just know him. We were partners for 8 years. He sat slowly, pulling a photo from his wallet. It was old, worn, but unmistakable. Rex, alert, powerful, sitting beside a younger Hank in full tactical gear. "He saved my life twice, maybe more. We went into buildings I wouldn't have stepped foot in without him." He looked at Mia. When he was retired, it broke him. Some dogs adjust. Rex didn't. Mia's voice trembled. "Why not?" Hank shrugged. "Some dogs don't work for praise or food. They work because they know their purpose. You take that away, they drift." He leaned forward. "But some bonds don't fade, even in the dark. Something must have pulled him to you." Mia stared at her hands. "He saved me from someone who wanted to hurt me." Hank nodded. "Sounds like Rex. Always knew who needed him most." He stood. "He won't stay long. That's how he is. But while he does, he's yours." Mia whispered, "What if I want him to stay forever?" Hank smiled, sad and warm. "Then show him he's not done yet." It started with a knock on the door. Late. Too late for anyone to be visiting. Mia and her mother exchanged a glance. Another knock. Harder this time. Rex was already at the door, muscles tense, tail low, ears forward. Mia peeked through the curtain, then froze. The man from the alley, bruised, bandaged, out on bail. He stared straight ahead. Mia stumbled back, heart in her throat. "It's him," she whispered. Her mother grabbed the phone, hands shaking. But before she could dial, the door handle jiggled. Rex growled. Deep warning. The door burst open. The man stepped inside with wild eyes and a trembling hand. "This is your fault!" he shouted. Mia screamed. Rex lunged. No hesitation. The man raised an arm, too slow. Rex clamped down, hard. They crashed to the ground. Chaos, screams, thuds, the phone clattering to the floor. Then, silence. The man lay motionless. Late, too late for anyone to be visiting. Mia and her mother exchanged a glance. Another knock, harder this time. Rex was already at the door, muscles tense, tail low, ears forward. Mia peeked through the curtain, then froze. The man from the alley, bruised, bandaged, out on bail. He stared straight ahead. Mia stumbled back, heart in her throat. "It's him," she whispered. Her mother grabbed the phone, hands shaking. But before she could dial, the door handle jiggled. Rex growled. Deep. Rex stood over him, chest heaving, blood on his muzzle, but his eyes never left Mia. Sirens in the distance, blue lights flashing against the windows. Officers rushed in, guns drawn, then lowered. Mia was in the corner, crying but safe. Her mother clutched her tightly. Rex sat, calm, still. One officer turned to the chief. "That dog just saved their lives." The chief nodded. "He's done that before." The living room was a mess. Shattered picture frames, splintered wood, blood, both old and new. Paramedics checked Mia and her mother. No injuries, at least none visible. Rex lay on the floor, eyes closed, breathing steady but shallow. A gash on his side was still oozing. Mia knelt beside him. "Please, don't leave now." She wrapped her small fingers around his paw, tears dripping onto the floor. "You promised." A medic approached. "He's stable, but he needs stitches. He's lost a lot of blood." Mia didn't let go, even when they lifted Rex onto the stretcher, even when they wheeled him out to the van, even when the doors closed between them. That night, Mia didn't sleep. She sat by the window, clutching the silver tag from Rex's collar, listening for footsteps that never came. At dawn, a car pulled up, or pulled. Hank stepped out. No words, just a quiet nod and an outstretched hand. "He's asking for you." At the clinic, Rex was resting, bandaged, breathing, alive. When Mia entered the room, he opened one eye. That was all she needed. She rushed to his side, kissed his forehead. "You stayed." Rex wagged his tail. "Once. It was enough." Rex stayed at the clinic for 3 days. Mia visited every afternoon, always at 4 o'clock, always with a peanut butter treat in one hand and a drawing in the other. Her drawings changed. No more monsters, no more crying girls in dark alleys. Now there were castles and dogs in armor, little girls holding giant paws, smiles where once there had only been silence. When Rex was released, he didn't return to a kennel. He came home. His bed was placed beside Mia's, his collar polished, his wounds healing. Every night, Mia would whisper stories to him, some real, some made up. One afternoon, the mayor visited the house. She knelt beside Rex, pinned a medal on his collar. For bravery, for loyalty, for saving lives. Again. Rex didn't care about medals, but he let Mia pet him while everyone clapped. Hank watched from the back of the room, arms crossed, smile small but proud. After the ceremony, he approached Mia. "He chose you, you know." She looked up. "Do you think he'll stay?" Hank paused. "Only if he believes you still need him." Mia smiled. "Then I'll make sure he knows." Mia wasn't just the quiet girl anymore. She spoke, not loudly, but clearly. At school, she stood in front of her class and gave a short presentation titled "Heroes That Walk on 4 Legs." She told them about Rex, about bravery that doesn't need words, about the night someone came to hurt her, and the dog that wouldn't let it happen. Her classmates listened. Some cried. One boy asked if Rex could come visit. He did. Mia walked him into the classroom on a red leash. He sat beside her desk the whole time, calm and proud. When the principal asked if she'd be interested in helping other kids learn about dog safety and resilience, Mia said yes, without hesitation. Each week, she and Rex visited a different class. They taught children how to approach a dog, how to trust, how to heal. But behind the lessons, something deeper was happening. Mia was rebuilding, piece by piece, word by word. She no longer flinched at shadows. She no longer looked behind her every few steps. And at night, when the lights dimmed and the old fears tried to creep in, Rex was there, not just beside her, but with her. Not just protecting her, but believing in her. Not every hero wears a badge. Some wear scars. Some carry silence. Some arrive not when you call for them, but when you need them most. Rex wasn't just a police dog. He wasn't just muscle or instinct or training. He was a guardian, a witness, a survivor. He reminded the world that some hearts don't quit after retirement, that some protectors never stop looking for someone to protect, that loyalty doesn't end with a job, it ends with a life. And Mia, she wasn't just a girl who got rescued. She was the girl who chose to trust again, who held on to courage with two small hands and refused to let go. Together, they proved a truth too often forgotten. Sometimes the ones who've been broken are the ones who save. If this story stirred something inside you, if it reminded you of the kind of courage that doesn't come with applause, the kind of love that never asks for anything in return, then don't let it stop here. Like this video if you believe heroes don't need words to speak. Share it with someone who has known what it's like to be protected without having to ask. Subscribe for more true stories of loyalty, survival, and the quiet power of love. And in the comments, tell us about your Rex, that dog, that protector, that moment someone, without saying a single word, stood between you and the dark. Because somewhere out there, in a shelter, in a quiet corner of a schoolyard, or resting on the porch steps as the sun sets, a heart is still ready to protect. Let this story be the reminder. Some heroes bark, some stay, and some save you twice, once from the world and once from yourself.